Hello all, I know you're not used to hearing my voice on any of my videos, but this is a little bit different to what I normally do, so I thought I should probably talk over it and give an idea of what I'm doing. So this is a speed draw that I'm making of some fan art that I drew for Dungeon Meshi of Marcille. It was part of a gift that I made for a friend of mine who is a cosplayer, and they have cosplayed Marcille, so I roughly based the pose on one of the photos from one of their shoots. But apart from that, it's pretty much just a faithful recreation of Marcille Dungeon Meshi as far as I can make one, because I'm not very good at this, but I tried more than I would care to admit. So to start with, the idea that I was going for was to have Marcille just poking out from behind a tree, which is based on the original reference image that I was using from my friend's cosplay. I changed that after a little while. I've got her kind of looking out from behind a wall in the dungeon, but this was a lot of fun, just kind of trying to work up her face. I found it was really easy to make a good Marcille face. I have another piece that I made that I'm going to be putting out a speed draw of, that was of everyone, like the whole Dungeon Meshi crew, and I struggled with so many of their faces, but Marcille I just could like put it out really quickly, and it just worked, and I don't know why. I just feel like in my style, whatever that means, because I don't think I've really got a unique style yet anyway, her face just came very naturally to me. The proportions that I naturally want to use just fit on her. I'm drawing in so much detail here on the hair and doing colour to see how things look, and this is all going to get deleted. This is delete your art. It's I'm just going to be quite ruthless with it. But I did have a lot of fun just, pulling up some Marcille reference, trying to replicate it, trying to move things around in terms of angles and get the face to look right and everything. And I think the final product came out pretty well. I'm vaguely happy with it, although there are a lot of things that I would like to change in my future work. I would like to do some more Dungeon Meshi type stuff. I enjoy the show a lot, and I really like the art style, but yeah, I think there's always room for improvement, but in particular when you're, not very good at this sort of thing like me, there's a lot of room for improvement. And yeah, I spent quite some time trying to draw this hand, trying to decide where it should go, what angle it should be at. This is all going to get deleted again. It's it's not going to stick around, but I landed on something that I was vaguely happy with there. Again, doing an awful lot of colouring, doing an awful lot of work on something that is a pretty rough sketch and is not going to stick around, but I got kind of an idea of what I wanted to do, not using any colour picking for this, just kind of going off vibes and what looks right to me, which is why the colours are bad and wrong. But I will colour pick for the final one, for most of the colours at least, because I, wanted to look more like Marcille and just better in general. Yeah, so it was at this point that I kind of made the decision to move from having her coming out from behind a tree to having her coming, like, looking around a corner at a wall. And now I'm just going to redraw the whole thing. Get rid of all the colours that I put in, get rid of all that stuff. And again, I felt pretty happy with the way that, like, the eyes and just the face in general came out. Like, to me, that looks like Marcille's face, which is not what generally happens when I draw a person's face. I generally spend like an inordinate amount of time redrawing it and moving things around to get it to look even vaguely the way I want. And don't get me wrong, I'm going to do a lot of corrections on this as the drawing goes on, but I found it relatively easy to just get the basic shape of it down. Yeah, I think I took the ears out a little further than they need to. Maybe definitely the far ear on the right side, on her right side, is sticking out too far. With the angle in perspective like that, it should be closer to her head. But I'm not good at this, so I'm not too hard on myself generally. I did enjoy messing around with the hair a little bit. I didn't really go hard off of reference on the hair. I got the vague shape from a reference and then just drew in whatever I felt like. I'm also getting used to how all of the tools work in Krita, because I haven't done all that much digital art. I've mostly just done pencil art myself, and not all that much of it. But I'm enjoying learning the new skill set. It's fun. I don't really know the theory of how you're supposed to construct a body. I just went with the idea of marking out where all of the joints are until it looked like it had human proportions, and then that was kind of it. And then a lot of drawing and redrawing and sketching and changing and zooming out and seeing that things are completely in the wrong proportion, and getting rid of everything and starting again. That's going to happen a lot. I spent quite a long time on this, which is a little bit embarrassing, given that, the final piece I'm quite happy with, but I wouldn't necessarily care to admit how long it took me to get it into the shape that it does end up in. I think I decide in the end just to hide her left hand, because I decide to change the pose a little bit, and also drawing more hands is not something I want to do. Yeah, I'm trying to get some clothes ruffles in there to look vaguely realistic, and I don't think it looks bad. I think there are definitely parts of it where it could be straighter. I think my default was to think, oh, well, the lines shouldn't be too straight because then that will look unnatural, so I should put in, waves and curves in places where the material is bending, but then I just put in curves everywhere. And, if you look at a real person wearing real clothes, there are some straight lines there where stuff just, lies flat. So I think I overcorrected a little bit on that, but it could be worse. And also, I'm going to tell you, I'm really happy with how that hand came out so quickly. Not to brag or anything, because it's still not great, but it's not terrible. It's like a half-decent hand, and I didn't have to redraw it 45 times like I did in the first sketch. So I'll take that. I'm quite happy with that part. Don't really know quite what to do with her staff at this point. I was thinking that I'd have like a ball of light in it or something that was going to provide the lighting for the scene, and that's pretty much what I go with. But yeah, her face is probably the part of it that I'm happiest with. I do enjoy messing with the hair and everything, but just I feel like that expression fits exactly what I was going for, where she's just unhappy to be here, but has to keep going because, I don't know, they're looking for something or trying to find a way out or something like that. So she's just managing to push herself to keep going through it. So this is where I bring in some reference to color pick from, which, I think is just the easiest way to do it. I made an error with some color picking in the other piece that I'm going to do a speed draw of, where I took, I think for Laios, I took an image of him from the show, which has, you know, some lighting in it. It's not sort of a blank base color palette like this one is for Marcille. So it just looks way too dark because he's in like a dark room, and I didn't even think about that when I was taking the image for coloring, so it just took way longer than to fix that afterwards. And yeah, I'm just putting together like a wall to cover up part of the image, well, to, I guess, give some sense of the environment. Just like a brick wall with a big wooden support or something going up in it. I honestly had probably too much fun just drawing in the lines between the bricks. I find things that are monotonous and kind of boring just nice and meditative sometimes, and this was one of those times where I spent, I don't know, maybe 20 minutes just drawing lines on these bricks just to make everyone unique, which I definitely didn't need to do. I probably could have just found like a pattern for bricks and used that instead, but I was just having fun. So I just spent all of this time on this, and a lot of these, because the end piece that I make is cut with like a circular border that you'll see at the end of it. A lot of these bricks don't make it into the end piece at all. They're just not there. But I had fun messing around with them, so I don't really care. Now I'm just adding some details into the staff. It's got this sort of nice, natural looking, twisty sort of shape, as if it grew into that circle and sort of knotted itself around at the end, which is probably what happened. It was probably, you know, magically made to do that. But I found the shape sort of pleasant and nice. I do like the little design touch of just having the couple of leaves at the top of the staff, and that they kind of indicate how Marcille's magical energy is doing, that when they're like standing up and green and everything, that she's got lots of magic, and then when and there's a part of the show where she like runs out of magical energy and they're sort of faded and they don't have, like, they're not standing upright. It's just a nice little detail that I think is cool that they didn't need to add. And now I'm going to spend, God, way too long colouring in what is probably like an incredibly inefficient way. I probably just could have used the fill tool for most of this, but again, I just kind of got into that meditative state of just colouring, just as if I'm using a colouring pencil, just going through the whole thing and colouring across. And I don't know if I'd say it was fun. My hand was quite sore by the time I finished the colouring, but it was nice. I didn't hate it, but I probably will not continue to colour like that for most of the stuff that I do in the future, because it just takes such a long time and is completely unnecessary, because it would have looked exactly the same if I just used the fill. But I don't know. Well, no, I was going to say I don't know if my layers were set up to be able to fill, but I'm looking at it right now and I've got 2 layers on top of the background. There's no reason why I couldn't have just used the fill tool on that. But anyway, it gets done. Again, that hand there, I'm quietly pleased with myself. They say, as they out loud tell everyone how pleased with themselves they are. I'm reasonably happy with how the hair came out. I think it reads pretty well. I'm not very good at hair texture, but like you can see that it's in a braid and that it's kind of looser but still tied up behind. And then I just decided to use the same red colour for the choker and the hair ties and the little bow on the front of her clothes. I don't know if that is the same colour in the reference. I didn't check, but I just thought it would look nice to have kind of that uniform colour across the small accessories. I used the same one for the bow at the back of her hair as well. Once again, I'm just taking a million years to fill in all of these tiny little crevices with colour for no reason. Other than this is just the way that I have decided to do it. And then, yeah, eyes. I don't really know how to draw like anime style eyes. I never really got into the whole anime style drawing when I was younger, because I didn't really watch any apart from Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh, because they were on the TV when I got home from school. So yeah, it's not something that I have the muscle memory for, but they're simple enough, so I can kind of, you know, take a couple tries at it and generally get them to look vaguely what I want them to be like. And then here I remembered that I forgot to draw in the book at all, so I'm just gonna draw that in oh god, a pen that is way too thick. But yeah, has to be done, I guess. I think that's the only major element that I forgot to draw in before I started colouring, but we'll see if there's anything else that I've forgotten before the end of the drawing. Yeah. But I'm quite happy with the way that the composition is coming along. I don't think the pose is bad. I'm sure that if I actually, you know, did out proper anatomy, I would see that the limbs were not the right length and the head was a wrong size for the body or something like that. But I'm pretty happy with kind of the way that it looks just at a glance. It kind of reads pretty normally. Her face shape is a little different from, you know, the reference. As you can see, I don't remember if I changed that a bit before the end. I think I do, but you know, we can say that that's a stylistic choice and not a mistake that I just didn't notice. We can say that. We can pretend that that is true, while I again spend a million years colouring in something that doesn't need to be coloured in like this. And also, just while I'm, you know, spending all of this time colouring and there's not much else going on, I just wanted to say that I'm really grateful for the amount of support that the channel has been getting from, I mean, the Drawfee community, obviously, given the bulk of my output. It's been kind of astonishing, honestly, to see how many people are enjoying the videos that I'm putting out, and I mean, I would have probably made most of them anyway because I enjoy making them, but it's a lot of fun making things that I know people are going to enjoy, if that makes sense. You know, I moved from, it was a while ago now, I moved from making one video a week to 2 a week, and that was just largely because so many people were watching them that I wanted to put out more stuff for the people who were enjoying it. And also I have got so many ideas for different types of comps and bigger projects that I want to make once I get the time, and I've got so many clips collected that I haven't got the chance to use yet that, like, if I was still putting out one video a week, it would probably take 10 years to put out everything. But I'm really just happy and grateful for all of you guys who've been, you know, coming along and watching my stuff and subscribing and liking and leaving lovely comments that I enjoy reading every time I see them. There's a mistake that I made drawing in the wall. I did a double line over it. Again, I could have done the outline of the shape of this wall and then color filled in the rest. No, I'm not going to do that. I'm gonna color it in slowly, stroke by stroke. But yeah, I guess just thanks to everyone who's watching and who's subscribed to the channel, and yeah, I'm not gonna stop putting out Drawfee compilations. I love those guys. I love making the videos, and I am happy to make stuff that so many people are enjoying as well. Yeah, they're going to keep coming. I've got no plans to stop making them anytime soon. I still have so much more Drawfee content to watch back in the full rewatch that I'm doing. It's going to take a long time. But I'm having a really good time doing it, and I'm also just enjoying not only making them, but also the feedback that I'm getting from everyone who's watching them is really nice. So at this point I do a background fill to see if I've missed any colouring anywhere, and of course it's the eyes. It's always the eyes that look unnatural and a little evil, maybe, with the grey fill, but an easy thing to fix. And then I'm trying to figure out what I should do with the inside of the staff here to give some sort of some sort of light source. And I kind of settle on the just stereotypical swirling ball of magical light energy, nothing too complicated. And then I'm just going to try and figure out where the highlights should be, where the shadows should be. I don't really know what the rules are for that. I'm just kind of going off of whatever looks right to me. So it's probably very wrong, but yeah. It gives roughly the right effect by the time it's all put together, and you've zoomed out just far enough that you can't make out a lot of the details. I just decided that piece of wood could block the light going over to the far side of the wall, so that can all just be in shade. I don't have to worry about it. And the main thing that I kind of struggled with is figuring out what I should do with the face. I decided for pretty simple shading by the end. I think I just do a bit on the nose and a little kind of highlight there going up the left hand side, and just kind of leave it at that mostly for the face itself. And then yeah, for everything else, just kind of looking at where the light is coming from and just deciding, this vaguely looks like it should be in shadow or whatever. I'm hoping I'm going to get better at this part, and I mean honestly every part of the drawing process in the not too distant future. I'm planning on doing quite a lot of practicing if I can continue to get the spare time in between work and making other videos as well. But I do really enjoy the process of drawing when I can just sit down with it and spend hours just working away. It's a lot of fun. And I think this is more or less where I settle with the shading. I think I put some on the staff and then just clean up a little bit, probably put some on the hand. And so then the kind of final framing that I'm going to do, I was trying to decide what would be good as a way to kind of surround the piece. And I opted to go for a circle of sigils, like magical sigils. If you haven't seen the first half of the season of the show, or the first half of the first season, then you might not recognize them, and it's a bit of a spoiler, so I won't say what they're for. But if you have seen the show, then you probably will get pretty quickly exactly what these are and what they were used for. They're pretty important. To start out with, I was just gonna draw them all. I noticed that they're just a repeating pattern, which is nice for me because then it means I can just copy and paste multiple times. But I was committed to drawing them all upside down because I don't know how to rotate the screen in Krita, because I don't really know what I'm doing. But yeah, thankfully it is just a repeated set of runes, so I was able to just copy them and paste them in. I decided here just to put in sort of an area of shadow where Marcille's face was blocking the light from getting to the stonework. Probably unnecessary, but I just had the idea and decided to do it, and that's the finished product. Yeah, that is my Marcille Dungeon Meshi fan art speed draw. Yeah, thanks to everyone who decided to stick around and watch, or if you just skipped to the end to see what it looked like, thanks for opening the video at all. I do appreciate it. And for all of you who are subscribed and regularly watch my videos, thank you so much. It really means a lot to me, and I'm going to keep putting stuff out at a good pace if I can manage to keep it up, which I've not been doing a bad job of so far, but we'll see. If things do get busy, I might have to take a break, but I'm not planning on it, and I'll give notice if that is going to happen. But I guess that's kind of all there is to it. I'm going to be putting out another speed draw like this, also Dungeon Meshi fan art, in the not too distant future, maybe in a few days or a week from now, and I might try and do some streams on Twitch just while I'm casually drawing stuff. If anyone wanted to come along while that was happening, you can. I think I've got my Twitch channel in my YouTube channel's description if you wanted to follow me. I don't know how often I'll be able to do it, probably not very often, and they won't be very good or particularly interesting probably, but I'll be doing them hopefully soon when I get a chance. But for now, thanks so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I will be back with more of my regularly scheduled programming in the days to come.